Hello, good
Good
morning.
morning,
Good morning.
good evening.
How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. And look at you, you're still smiling and you look you look fine.
Yeah, by God's grace, things are just moving. I love the
Good.
color. I love the red color of
Oh,
your dress.
thank you,
Wow,
thank
this
you.
is so beautiful. One of my favorite colors.
Yeah, yeah,
Love-
I like red, but I tend to not do too many bright colors, but this
It's
is good.
so beautiful, and it's looking good on you.
Oh,
Lovely.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, So I'm so glad that you're well enough to meet, and you're just going through a very draining process. I think draining is probably the best word for it.
Yes.
Oh,
But then maybe just thinking about the big picture gives me the courage to keep moving because it's just the beginning and there's still a lot of time to, for everything to fall in
yeah.
place. But yeah, and thank you so
Well,
much for the prayers. The when I read those messages, it really means a lot to me. Honestly, yeah, thank you so much for that.
I will if you like, I'm going through the pictures of my trip to Germany, and I can show you a couple of the places where I've I I wrote and left a prayer about you. So
Oh,
I think one of them is really, I'd never seen anything like that, and I thought it was very, very interesting. It was a place for people to leave prayer requests, but kind of dedicated to Ukraine. So it was very creative. So I thought
okay. Thank
that was
you.
nice to
Yeah, please,
see
I would
that.
love to see the pictures. Yeah, please. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw that one that you shared, the one picture, and it was beautiful, and I would love to see more. Yeah.
Okay, great, good. I'll send them to you when I prepare them. I learned with horror that my brother and his wife never send pictures without first kind of editing them and preparing them.
Okay.
And my brother's wife gets really irritated when people just send pictures. And I'm like, I think the whole world would irritate you then because,
Yeah, we all
it's
send that
snap,
way, like
send.
just capture and send. Yeah, yeah,
So I'm going to try her approach because I think it's a good way to cherish what you've just seen.
yeah. I would also remember that, maybe at least if not all pictures, but some pictures that are special, we can always edit and then, archive them or maybe send it to someone. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And there are people who make a living now for helping people organize their pictures
Yeah,
into folders and maybe
uh,
write captions,
right
maybe even
captions.
clean them
Yeah,
up a little bit.
yeah,
So
brighten them up. Yeah. Nice. The more we are having, I mean, in terms of whether it is digital or whatever, like people have social media accounts now. So then there are social media managers. So I know a lot of new job roles are also coming up that way. And it's quite interesting. And a lot of young people, college going students and all I see, even here in India, a lot of them, just for kind of pocket money and all they would do.
yeah,
And it's good actually, just seeing them doing all of this. I mean, it's nice.
yeah, it's very good. It builds their network. They get certain skills. And even with all the communication tools that are evolving, the human element is still very important, that personal human touch. And so these young people will learn,
Mhm.
yes, they're using all these tools and maybe they automate a lot of their posts and use, all the calendaring tools. But in the end, they're always thinking about what reaction do they want it, what feeling do they want their readers to get. So I think
Yeah,
that's really
absolutely.
great.
Thank you. Yeah, and uh, I mean, I was just going through the mind maps last week, and last week, of course, even last week also, I wouldn't say I was in full health. I was still, struggling. But then I thought, okay, let's just meet. And I remember then you said, okay, the dates, and you were in Germany. So I thought, okay, because I had blocked this time for you, and now that I'm free, and I was sleeping almost the entire day. Most of the days now passed that way only. Like even daytime, I feel so fatigued after taking those hormones and medicines and all. So
Oh,
I most of the time either walking around the house out of hot flushes or sleeping on the bed.
oh,
So
no.
so last week I was like, okay, because I was already mentally prepared to meet you. And I saw the email quite late. I said, okay, because I have this time blocked for, so why not just go out? I asked my husband, okay, why don't you take out the car and I'll sit there and let's just go somewhere, at least for that 1 hour, because already the mind was prepared not to just move around the house or rest. Then I went to one
Right.
temple. I went to one temple and it was very peaceful. It's kind of uh, a big open space where you can sit and meditate and very quiet, very few people, some children were there. It's more like temple come park kind of thing. I mean, park in the
Oh,
sense it's for meditation and all.
yes,
And
yes, not
so
for
it was,
picnics.
yeah, so it was very cool and calming effect. So I said, okay, I mean, though I could not meet you, but then I utilized the time that way and I did feel good. And
Very
yeah,
good.
that's how. And yesterday I was like, I was prepared. I wouldn't say I wasn't prepared. I was prepared, but then I was not in full energy mode to even speak for longer duration. So I said, okay, let me just try. And in case if you say no, you are not free today, I would have taken. But then it was so nice of you. Immediately you said, and when I saw your message, I was like, okay, now I can, go and again take rest and have my medicine doses and all. So
Yeah, and all your preparation did not go to waste. So I'm sorry about that. I have to say that I'm not very prepared. I think maybe lost the thread here
Mhm,
of what we were still going to be working on.
mhm,
So I did practice reviewing.
mhm.
So that was really fun. I reviewed my the book map
Okay.
summary, and it was like enjoying the book all over again.
Mhm.
It wasn't like reading the book, but enjoying it. And then I realized, oh, part of the book that I really, really liked, I didn't map. So I went in and I added another little section
Oh, wow.
because for each chapter in this
Mhm,
prayer book was a model of a
mhm,
saint. And
mhm,
then I thought, I I should write down those saints because it was kind of neat
mhm,
here, which saint went with which kind of prayer, like
mhm, mhm,
something that they practiced and believed
mhm.
in very much and
Okay.
worked for them. So, it made me feel like, just as you were saying, some of these keep growing. And
Yeah,
so,
and it will keep growing more even in future. Every time you visit, maybe you will feel like adding something and all. And we are going to talk about it today a little bit more. But yes, as we say that mind maps are like, trees, it keeps growing and they are live documents. You can always keep editing them, putting things as long as you have space. And even if
yep.
you don't have space, I have seen people actually, even I will be showing a picture of Tony Buzan today. So it was not a single page. What they did, they kept on joining pages after pages. There
Uh-huh.
was big one because they just wanted to extend the branches from all directions. So they kept
Oh,
on adding space from all directions. So it was a huge map actually. Maybe one of the largest maps in the world, mind map. So I'll be showing you a picture of that
oh,
too. Yeah.
oh.
So I did feel that there will be some disconnect because we are meeting after I think 2 weeks or one
Yes.
week. Uh,
2 weeks, and I was in Europe and in a
yeah,
completely different space
it
where
happens.
part
Yeah.
of what I needed was to live an unplanned life. And I did, and it was great. Not completely unplanned, but it
It's
was
good
wonderful.
to go unplanned sometimes. It's actually so
Yes.
adventurous, and when you have people, I mean, your family and your friends with you, it's always adventurous.
Well,
So,
so this time I spent 3 nights, 4 days by
oh,
myself,
okay,
with
wow,
only myself to say what I wanted to do next. And I realized on the second day that I had never traveled by myself. I've gone from point A to point B by myself, but I've met people at, like
okay. So this was like,
went from family to a conference or friend A to friend B, home to a family, but never just wandered around a country by myself. It
okay.
was
So it was
very
like you should
interesting.
mind map your experience about it. I would rather say.
Can you do that? Mind map? The
Yeah,
past, of course you can.
yeah. I mean, it's more like I will show you. It could be a combination of pictures,
Yeah.
images, like as you said, you have clicked some pictures, so you could actually print it out, or just put some pictures there, or maybe you could do it online also. I mean, on a whiteboard, like how you have done one of your previous maps. So you could do any of those, and you could tell about, like, first is maybe the first branch could be where you went, what was the purpose, a little bit about that, dates,
Yeah.
on which date you arrived, which date you, so days, number of days, places visited. So the first branch could
Yes.
be just plain information. And then second branch, you are now segregating, okay, let me put four branches based on my experience. So if it is day wise, you could put day one, day two, day three, day four. Or if it is experience wise, then experience,
Yes.
you can name those experience, and all that. And maybe you can add a final branch of what is that you felt about it, maybe in two, three keywords. So you can just do that. And maybe we can do now also some of that mind mapping. uh,
Yeah.
so actually,
Yeah. We
we
could
do a lot
start it
of
off.
that. We do a lot of that where we capture experiences in a mind map.
Oh man, that's great. And of course, as you say that, I'm like, well, a book mind map is that also, right? It's of course you can mind map things that you've lived. It's not just forward projecting thinking. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I really love that. And I have been trying to figure out the format of how I process and share what I had seen. And I'm like, okay, so I'll edit the pictures, I'll post something on Facebook. But this is really a cool idea for myself.
It will
So,
give you, even after, let's say, 10 years. So you just, okay, pictures will be there, but you also have some keywords, some dates, and it's like one page. You are not, it's not a travelogue as such, but even
right.
it will be more like that, a complete map of what are the key things that have happened. And each word will actually spark so many memories even after a few years.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so it will be beautiful.
Okay.
So
I love
yeah.
to embroider, and every time I see some of the mind maps, I want to embroider one.
Oh, wow.
So just saying,
But yeah, actually, see,
make a
this is such
pillow
a
or
unique,
something.
unique idea. If you see now, if you see that picture on the screen, actually, people who would love to draw, they would want to draw this. Okay, it's colorful. Somebody would want to embroider, as you say. So, it's unique. And in the embroidery, it need not be some words. It can be just pictures also.
Yes,
So
yes,
there are mind maps which have no words at all, which I'll show you in the next coming slides, where there are only pictures. So while we begin, I just thought of sharing this picture with you because we know that mind maps mirror how the brain functions. Uh,
yes,
our brain, and these are all based on research, core research with a lot of people across the globe, that the moment when people, especially if we look at students who are learning new things in colleges or schools, even they also, when they start using mind mapping, they see that they remember better instead of just notes taking or just studying at the last moment. If they start up, even for example, people, I mean, during our PhD, we know that we have read a lot of research papers. So if we don't have to read everything in a research paper. Sometimes we just need the crux of it. Some research paper, we really need to go deep. But then again,
mhm,
after a year, we need to refer to that research paper again. And then again, it feels like, okay, am I reading it for the first time? So it happens to people. But the moment we have actually mind mapped the keywords from the research paper, so we have now a second stage information. We don't have to go back to the research paper unless we need a specific graph or data or something like that. So it's understood that our mind maps that we are learning now, it's kind of replicating how our brain thinks. And we already, if you remember, in our first and second and many sessions forward, we have spoken that brain loves to think associatively.
mhm.
If you remember, there was a principle also, association and repetition, that
Yes, for
seven
the mate.
principle.
Yeah.
So when we see something for the first time, our brain, for example, now if I think of, let's say, if you now think of about your recent trip, you will be having so many experiences coming to you. Similarly, if I say another person, for example, a simple word like apple, it's just a word, but the moment I say apple, even a small child will not think of apple as a apple. He or she
Mm.
might actually think of a red apple or maybe a green apple. He or she will visualize something. And then I say, okay, think about some more information. Think about apple for a while. And they might think about apple quote that, okay, that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Some may think in that way. Some
Mhm.
other might
Mhm.
think of, okay, I love apples. I love green apples. Or there, some might even start thinking about the taste of apple. So many things. So if somebody has seen apple tree, they will think about the tree. So there are so many things. Some might actually think about iPhone. You never know. I mean, everybody would have different idea about that. So what our brain does is we take a new information and we associate it with an old information. So, and we call that as associative thinking. So this is a small activity that we will do, a very simple one, and we will call it associative thinking activity. This is just to show you that later on in future also you can use this activity for any kind of topic or any kind of brainstorming, and it is just to tell your brain, if you see that there are 10 branches coming out from this image. So what we do in associative thinking is we start with the topic at the center, and we will purposefully, without even knowing what are we going to put in those branches, we will make 10
Yeah.
or 11 10 or 12 branches. So here you can see 10 branches, and in this case the central topic is happiness. So you can
Mm.
choose any other topic, but as of now we will choose it as happiness. Let's say you can put at the center the smiley. You can draw it also, a smiley, and then
Yep.
we will put. And what we will do is, because there are 10 branches, we will stop there. I mean, we will first of all draw the branches. So the moment you draw these empty branches, I mean, these are vacant, nothing is written, but you have still drawn. So you're telling your brain subconsciously that you have to come up with 10 ideas.
Okay.
Because if there are only 4 branches, your brain will come up only with 4 ideas instantly. But because there
Yeah.
are 10, so automatically your brain now is imagining or visualizing, okay, I have to think about 10 things related to happiness for me.
Yeah.
So can we do this? You can just write
Y-
10 things
Yes.
related to happiness. Yeah.
Yes. So I should tell them?
No, you can just write down.
Right. Okay. I'm writing them down. Okay.
Yeah. One each on
Um,
one on each branch. Yeah.
great. Great. Um,
Anything that your brain associates happiness with.
yeah. Um, gonna laugh at one of them. Okay. Oh, first one was easy. Um,
So it could be any word, 10 words that come to your mind when you think of
okay.
happiness.
All
Family,
right.
friends,
Yeah,
traveling,
that's kind of
cooking,
where.
anything.
Okay, good. Good for the other tips because I had friends. Okay. Um, yeah, definitely try. You. Um, hmm, yeah, okay, got it.
Okay, all 10 done.
Yep,
Wow. Would you like to share one of
sure.
them? Yeah.
So number one, food.
Wow.
Then ocean, friends, candles, animals, colors, family, traveling, new things, and people.
Wow. That's lovely. So what we'll do now is, I mean, this is just an example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is example based on generally what are the things like traveling comes very frequently, family comes, some would write about spirituality, health. So this is just an example of some samples that
Yes.
I've written. And what we do is now we know that, okay, these are the 10 words that my brain has given me, which means that, these are the first things that came to my mind when I thought about happiness. And what will
Yeah.
be the next step is we will keep going. Can we, for example, uh, let's say time, or let's say family, can we just add an extra branch? Can we just add one more layers to each of those?
Yeah. Yeah. So family is past, and now,
For
so to
example,
me, it's
traveling.
the
Yeah, traveling for me, for example, is experience, meeting new people. So example, so something like that, or time.
okay.
Yeah. So whatever, just whatever you have written. For example, food.
Yep.
So whether you like eating or cooking.
Both. So I'll add
So you can
I add
add two branches, eating
two
as well as
branches.
cooking. Yeah.
Yep.
Or trying new dishes or something like that. So
Yep.
whatever it is, yeah.
Great. Great. Um, all right. Um, Connecting. Okay. Animals. Oh, animals could be a whole thing all by itself. Hmm, um, okay. Okay, I got it.
All done.
Yep.
Okay, I would love to, see that once you have our session is done, you can always share that.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is very simple one with that we have done, but what we generally do is, for example, we have to instantly generate ideas on a particular topic. It could be as simple as we might want to write an article, or maybe we don't have much time and we want to speak on a particular topic with a group of people, or just plain brainstorming.
Yep.
We are not structuring anything as of now. What we want
Right.
is we just want some keywords, so that once we sit for writing, or more appropriately putting it in a mind map for later use, what we do this is, first we just write the topic at the center, maybe with an image or without an image, and then sometimes you don't even need different color pens also in this case, because you are just wanting your brain to generate ideas.
Hmm.
In
You're
10
not categorizing anything yet,
Yeah.
really.
So that is why what we say is, though in mind mapping, when we are planning and thinking, okay, I'm going to make a mind map of this particular book or this particular article or this particular video, then we already have set our mind. So what we do is we start with colors. We have some colors and we follow the rules, and we also see that there are not more than 7 or 8 branches. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
it is opposite. This is where, like, we don't know what's going to come up.
Yep.
We are absolutely keeping it fully free. It's also a way of practicing divergent thinking,
Yes.
where we don't tag that, okay, I love animals, it gives me happiness, so I'll write about it. Somebody
Yeah.
just write, I love spending time all by myself for at least 1 hour a day, and that, even if it sounds crazy, that could be something that gives me happiness, and it can be that.
Yeah.
Without tagging, I'm just putting things there. And the key point here to remember, as mind mappers, is that we just write the topic at the center, and we put at least 10 to 12 uh, vacant branches. That means we don't put anything in the branches, but the branches should be drawn first, so that our mind will give us at least that many ideas.
That
So
is so cool. It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. The little ways that we've been trained and that we train our brain to go certain directions, they're so simple, like numbers of lines. That's
yeah.
amazing.
And we don't have to do anything here. Our brain, because we already have so much of experiences in our life, we only have to direct and channelize them into the paper. That's it. So brain will automatically keep producing on any topic that is known to us. For example,
Wow.
if you even write, let's say, your trip to Germany, and okay, what 10 things that I loved most about it, and you
Yep.
will have. So that is one way of doing it. And the other way was more like a planned. Okay, I'm going to talk about firstly a brief about that trip, and then maybe day wise, 4 days. So day one, what other things happened, day two, and overall maybe at the end, in conclusion, one branch dedicated to my overall experience. So that is another.
Mhm.
So the same
Mhm.
event can be put into so many ways in a mind map.
Yeah.
One way,
Yeah.
yeah. And I would share with you that this mind mapping that we just did, we did with a group of students, young boys and girls. It was not on happiness. Happiness we do more with elder, like people like us. And because for children, if you put happiness, they can go up to 100 branches also. They are so creative, and they actually say also, why only 10 branches, can we put more and all like that. So what we did is, in place of happiness, we gave the word relationship for them. So these are,
Oh.
yeah, 20 10-year-old, 16-year-old, 14-year-old. So for a moment they said relationship. So I just gave them a one line or two line, not definition, but what all things they can talk to. It could be even relationship with nature, with parents, with friends, with teachers. So you just think in a broad term, and don't
Mhm.
channelize yourself, and I mean, don't restrict yourself with the term relationship in such a narrow manner, to make it broad. And once I say that, then they keep on putting all the things they can do in the
Wow.
world. And then some of them, they even prepare from there, then they prepare a more nice map of what they would want to talk in the speech. They prepare a 5 minute
Oh.
speech. So it can be used in so many different ways, this simple activity that we call as associative thinking, mind
Yep.
mapping.
Yep. Yep. Wow.
So I would want you to experiment more with this on different topics.
Yes. Yes. On the same topic or different topics?
Different topics, maybe on happiness,
Okay.
on different topics.
Great.
It's also a good way to keep the brain active. Sometimes me and my husband, we would just sit with any random topic. Okay, yeah, it would be any random topic. We even take a character from our scriptures,
Oh,
and we will say, okay,
yeah.
let's think about this person and what are the qualities of this person, what we can learn from them. And it's a fun activity, but then
Yeah.
it keeps the brain active in the long run, which is a
Yes.
good thing to
Yes.
do.
Yes. And not just the brain, but the imagination too.
Yeah. So
Great.
it's a very nice exercise even to do in groups also. So yeah. So we will see about some of the applications. So this is a very simple one, like oh, for example, I want to share that I'm going to take a 1 hour session with somebody, and about mind mapping. Maybe there are a group of people, a very simple map. If you can see, this is one of the simplest of simple map that is made. And assume
Mm.
that it is a mind map of the agenda that I'm going to share, that today I'm going to address some, let's say, some 20-30 people on mind mapping. And
Yep.
so I'll welcome them to the course. And I have to mention that, okay, I know that there will be some delegates. So I just want to, you know, this maybe the single word will tell me, okay, I have to address them in my opening statement,
Yes.
something of that. And then I'll share a little bit story about mind mapping. Why is it important? So story about mind and mapping, and maybe I'll talk about how it is mimicking the brain, or maybe how I first came to know about mind mapping. So maybe I will start with that. And then fundamentals, I say. So the moment it is written fundamentals, I know that I have to talk about the rules, how to use images, colors. So even that one word is fine. Next,
Yep.
maybe I'll share some applications with them. And then I'll take one topic. I will ask the audience that why don't you suggest a topic, and we will do a mind map of it. And yes,
Yep.
it's done. So you can see the complete agenda is there in just one simple mind map.
Wow. I love it.
And
I
we can
love
do
it.
this for any topic. Actually, this is for mind map, but we can do it for any topic. Just the keyword is sufficient, and if you are already prepared, this will just help you for navigating through the 1 hour or 2 hour. And you need not
Right.
carry it. It can be just in your pocket or folder. Okay, this is the next thing. Maybe welcome, story, and fundamental done. Let's take a 5 minutes break, come back, and let's do the application, so you know exactly from where to where you have to go. So it's more like, you know helping you throughout, and nothing
Good.
more is required.
Yeah. This is so awesome. Because it serves the purpose of a map, right? Where you are and where you're going and where you've been. Because I think a lot of people kind of lose the context or the flow when they present or do a course. But I'm curious to know why mind and mapping are on separate branches.
Okay, this
And
is more like I always start with this joke. Okay, can I just go and open the door? Just give me a moment.
yeah, sure. I'm going to go close my door.
Yeah, just a moment. Yeah. So I just had to open the door because right now only me and my husband are there and he was out. So,
Oh,
so I just had to open.
yes, you did.
So yeah, I was saying that why it is, I mean, it could be in the same branch and then you could write something else. But then what I do in my sessions, suppose it's just a 1 hour session and I don't have too much time or maybe 2 hour session. I talk about mind first, that how we take in a lot of information and it's so cluttered out there. And a lot of people, they declutter their workspace, they will declutter their homes, and they will keep everything spick and span. But then the inside also needs some organization. So I talk a little bit about mind and how powerful it is. And then I talk about the library metaphor, where a lot of books are
Yes,
there, which I shared with you also. And the moment we organize them and index them, it becomes so easy. And the importance of map. So, and then slowly I combine this two. So I share it
great.
that way. But then it
That
depends.
is what I thought. That is what I would have thought, knowing how you approach the subject is kind of bringing back constantly mind and then the importance of mapping the mind. So cool.
And again, applications also, mind mapping of applications. I just wrote in 2 words, but then there are, I mean, I again show them that in applications, I try to touch two things. I mean, two things in the sense, two broad things, because when we Google about mind mapping, mostly people will talk about note taking or maybe
Mm-hmm.
some project management, because those are
Mm-hmm.
common uses. But I want to tell people that it's not just that, it is way more than that. That is just okay, note taking or book. Suppose somebody is reading something and they want to make a summary of it. So that is a good way. But other than that, also, even for calming our own mind, it is it can be used for self-awareness. It can be used for
Yes.
mindfulness activity. It can be used for uh, decision making. Or if you remember, we shared a map where the person was confused to say yes
Yes.
or no, and then we saw that how the decision can be uh, thought about and properly mapped, and then finally we can arrive at a decision. Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even if we are saying yes or no, we will be more conscious from the next time, the moment we have mapped it out. So it has a lot of applications, and hence I again say that it's not just one or two. So again, in application, I try to do both. And then the topic activity, what we do is just now what you have done, happiness.
Mm-hmm.
One, we do associative thinking, where we tell people that you don't have to think about colors, images, or anything. Just put out 10 branches and then put it there. And it is so interesting to see that even for the same topic, different people come up with different things, whether it's
Ah,
happiness or relationship. And I
yeah.
remember we even did COVID, and
Oh,
uh, while some saw it so emotionally, there were people who said that they haven't got breaks in years. So
oh,
they felt like they were seeing their family for the first time, children growing, and they were out
oh,
for like 12 hours, 14 hours out of home. And when they returned, they were always tired and they would sleep. And even on Saturday, they would work. So there were people, on the other hand, there were people who had made losses in business, who have lost their loved ones. So for them, it was emotional. So
yeah,
same
yeah.
topic became different. So we
Yeah.
do those kind of activity with, of course, after giving them a choice of at least 3 to 4 topics, that which is the
Yep.
one you are going to pick. And even the simple, why I show this, I mean, to people or even to you, is to show that it's such a simple thing to draw. There is no picture also. If you see, I haven't drawn any image. It is just like trying to draw the brain at the center, if you see.
Right.
And it's not a great way to draw the brain that way, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's still looking
It looks a
beautiful.
little like the top of Einstein's head.
So that is the beauty of this simple thing, yet it is conveying so much of information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one way where we can use mind maps as a agenda, that what, or as a map, that from where to where we need to go without losing track. As a speaker or as a facilitator, we can always carry this kind of map. So this
Yep.
is number one. And again, this vacation, for
Oh.
example. So based on whether you are going to, when I make mountains, because mostly we visit mountains. We are surrounded by mountains all around. So the nearest places to where we stay are all mountains only. And even we have beaches, but then less, I mean, at least from my place. So based on where I'm going, whether it's, a mountain or beach or what is that, we just make a picture at the center. And just, it's more like fun, that what were the, just I was talking, that what were the experiences that you have had during the trip, so you can think about
Yes.
that. So something like that. So this is just a trip, and a lot of people do this, that what are the activities they did, what kind of food they had, what kind of fun activity did they work, any work, or anything it could be. You can keep on adding branches from any of this, and this is just like, a coconut tree or something like that.
Yeah, from an island or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so just a simple, we need not draw an extravagant, very beautiful picture. Even a simple one, these are all very simple ones. And still it makes a lot of sense. I'll show you some more. Okay, this is something I really wanted to show you.
Uh, I've
Again,
heard a lot about vision boards,
yeah.
never worked with any of them. So this will be interesting.
So this, though I have just picked it up from, one of the mind maps, but what I want to tell you is, what I do for myself, or what a lot of people do, is they will take the central topic, and they will not use, even for example, here you can see some words, but I would suggest is, do not put any word. We don't need words. What we will do is only images. So image based mind map. And even if you
Yeah.
want to put a word, it has to be the minimal, just maybe one word, unless you feel that without the word you cannot recollect, maybe after 5 years, or let's forget 5 years, after 6 months, without the keyword you cannot recollect what is that you want to say. So in that case,
Yeah.
keyword, and just put some images, and only images. And it could be even your goal setting also. For example, you have, at the center you write 2023, and then in one, for example, your first goal is, let's say, spiritual growth, just an example. So spiritual growth, so maybe you would want to write the word spiritual, but after that you don't want to use any words, you just want to put some pictures. Somebody
Hmm.
could say, okay, financial growth, and maybe they draw some symbol, dollar symbol or whatever it is, some symbol, and then they think that, okay, this time I have to upskill my knowledge. Maybe that could be one way. And next is, I have to, beyond my job, I have to look for some passive income sources. So they could actually think about, maybe, okay, this is my skill and I can actually leverage it. So it could be anything. Or maybe somebody is thinking of, building a house or decorating a
Hmm.
house. It could be just anything, and we can just cut pictures from anywhere. I have seen people cut pictures from magazines, newspapers, and they put it there. So this is
Yep. Yep.
one way of doing it. Another usage of the same vision board or image based mind mapping is where, for example, you are writing a book, or you are writing an article, and you want some 10 days or 20 days for that article to develop, that you research a little bit. So you actually put it at the center, and then as and when it comes, maybe in newspaper or somewhere you have seen something, you cut it and you put that picture, maybe from newspaper cutting or something, and you actually develop it that way. So you also have a complete board of how the article have developed, or how the book has developed. So all of,
Yes.
so vision. And I have, I'm just trying to think from all the perspective, like how different people use different ways of image based mind map. I have seen
Mhm.
people using it for habit tracking.
Oh, yeah.
Habit tracking, they will put one small picture of cycle, and then they will
Mhm.
write, okay, 3 times weekly they will go out for cycling, example.
Yeah.
That will be another branch, and they will put some nice food picture, and it means that they will be, this month they are focusing on, or the next 3 months they are focusing on having food cooked at home and no outside food, which is a big
Ah, okay.
thing.
Right, right,
They
right.
do that. And then family time, that okay, in the evening, or we will be putting off all the devices by so and so time at night, so they will put the device and then put a cross. So just
Ah,
images, and then they put it on there, and the whole family knows, okay, these are the things. So some, for some common things. And
yeah.
I remember one of my clients, I would say long back, what she did was he put a picture of her book, which was not yet published, not yet written also. It was not written. She just
Uh-huh.
imagined that she would write a book in future and this would be the title, tentative. So she put the image of what she made, one book picture, and she put the name of the title, and she wrote author, her name.
Ah,
And then she started visualizing what will be the things in that book. So small thing, what are the topics, and whenever she would come across anything, so she took some 10 to 15 days just to develop that image fully. And once it
wow.
was there, then she started writing. Now she knew, okay, it is complete. So I mean, a lot can be done with the vision boards and image based mind maps, where we put images, purposely we put images.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'll share one more last one with you about this. This is again a person who did this similar kind of course like the one you are doing. And after the course was over, he had a trip to another place. And what he did is he made a mind map, no words or nothing, but all pictures. Uh, First picture is he writes that before the trip, and he puts a, makes a checklist, done, and in one picture he gave. Next he puts pictures of his pan card and whatever cards are needed, identity cards, so that when in the airport they ask him, he will open the mind map and show them. He directly opens
That's
in the
great.
single mind map. He made everything. His passport was there, identity card was there. Then next, when he checks into the hotel, he have to show the hotel guy the uh,
Yeah,
bill,
also
the
the
invoice that
ID
he
and
has booked. So he shows, even that picture is there in another branch. After arrival, things to do. So arrival,
wow.
he shows that. So it is all there. Instead of this small images, he puts those images here. And then that is what he shows them. So everything is there in one place. He need not go and find out every time new,
Right, right.
including the driver cab number, the phone number of the cab driver, who is going to pick up, who is so everything is there in the same map. And the map helps, actually it is a map, living, not just a simple map showing him the direction, but every single detail about the trip with the pictures. And wherever it is needed, small keywords are there, so he prepared that. So even that was a
Wow.
great way.
So that's a great way to organize. So very different uses of images. One of them here is images of documents that you might need. The other thing you talked about was like researching an article or something where it would actually be the image of, or cut out from a newspaper or a quote or something like that. And then the other is, the more traditional use of images, using it instead of words. So yeah, mind
Yeah.
blowing,
And
mind
yeah,
blowing.
habit tracking, you can do it. Yeah.
So habit tracking, because that's on my list of things to do in a bullet journal. I'm always like supposed to do my habit tracker, and I'm very bad at even creating the habit tracker. So where is there, how would you just like do check marks for?
Oh yeah, I'll show you that in a while. I'm just writing down. I have a
Okay,
mind mapping template. I'll share that with you, habit tracker.
okay, great.
And we can actually put a tick mark on that for a week or a month, how whatever way you
Okay,
want.
that's how you do it then. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I'll show you that. Yeah.
Good.
This is again another, I mean, I'm just trying to show you different ways of how we can use mind mapping as a scheduler. So
Yeah.
just on Monday, what are the things I'm going to do? And then again, I put in work also what is the priority. Instead of priority, I'll write the task there. It could be,
Yep.
a meeting or something like that. The Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday, we have not written, assuming that it is going to be off days.
Right,
But
right, right, right.
in any case, if somebody wants, for example, there are people who would even write Saturday and then Sunday, even if they are going to watch movie with kids, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
party
Yeah.
time, or go me time, or gardening. So even they schedule Sunday, whereas others, they would say Sunday, they would write Sunday, and then they would write do as you wish, whatever comes.
So this is very close to what one of the methods that I used for doing a weekly mind map is
Yeah,
branch it out per day. And but this is a
absolutely.
little bit more organized as far
Yeah,
as time goes. So that's
yeah.
nice to see this
Yeah,
model.
but then what you are using, even that is great. I remember, because all the time we cannot be so particular about what are we going to do at lunch or evening or night. Sometimes we know, okay, 4 tasks are there, and throughout the day I'll have to finish them. And as
Right.
in when, yeah, I mean, we can be, whatever works best for us. Yeah.
Yep. 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 Yep.
And this is again just, for example, if somebody wants
Ooh.
to explain. I have taken the simplest of simple topic. I mean, simple topic in terms of this, we know about the full form of smart. So suppose somebody wants to explain to an audience that, okay, I want to talk about smart goals. So instead of putting it in so many hundreds of slides, and we talk about S stands for specific, but just this one mind map is sufficient to be projected in the board, and you can keep on talking about it, and people will actually understand, okay, and you can share all that you want, but just with one mind map.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and this template has two uses. One of them is to help you create your own SMART goals.
yeah,
Right.
specific, yeah.
So that's great. Love this.
And this is okay. This is
Oh,
created using a software. This is
wow.
simply, I mean, we have done a lot of this in our, I mean, even during my job in the university, or even during our brainstorming and all the meetings of, we have a small company in partnership. So whenever we meet, and we don't record meeting minutes as in point number one, point number two, point number three. We never do that. What we do is we create a blank mind map even before going to the meeting, because we already know the agenda and all of, roughly we
Hmm.
know all about that through emails. So more or less we will create the branches, and as in when whatever topic is being said, I will just put those keywords, and then I'll put the date, and we have a ready-made thing. I mean, we
Yep.
don't have to go back and think about who said what, and even taking down very fast so that we don't miss out a point. So that doesn't happen. So while the meeting is running very comfortably, we can, talk about, this is just an example, like, what are the things, what were the agenda, and what were the supplies or location, when it happened, who. So this is just a simple one, but we can do it in our own way. For example, what I do is I write the agenda, and then I write
Yep.
point number one, what was discussed, who spoke, and any ideas, or in the meeting agenda, point number one agenda is being spoken about. So just
Yep.
small keywords, and I just pick out some one or two keywords, and then later on, once I go home or after the meeting is over, maybe I'll sit with one more person who has attended the meeting, and we'll say, okay, are all the points covered? Or sometimes what we do is two persons record, and then we later on we put it together if it's like a long
Hmm.
2 hour meeting. So what we do is, okay, you also collect, I'll also collect parallelly, and then
Yep.
we
Yep.
then we come together and we said, okay, there's other points, so let's just finalize, and these are the things that we discussed in the meeting. These are the um, uh, final decisions that came up as a
Yeah.
result of the meeting. So all that is recorded well on the
Yep.
called mind map here.
Yep. Okay. I like that.
So this is the
Oh
mind
my gosh. Is this the biggest
map.
mind map?
Yes, this is the mind map which saved, you can see. I don't know what is the number here.
11 million something
So this
dollars.
mind map is 25 feet long. and it took a lot of weeks, at least a few weeks, to absorb and learn all the information. So 100 aeronautical engineers, they came together, when Boeing was going at a loss. So Tony Buzan was asked to actually make a mind map, so that all the senior people, senior engineers, they came together. They took a few weeks to finally absorb and learn. I mean, whatever they have learned in all this year. Sometimes what happened, we all have the information, we know the rules, we know the strategies, but we don't know how to implement because it is lost somewhere. So he brought
Right.
all the people together, and through a lot of brainstorming sessions, they finally came up with a breakthrough. I'll just show you the mind map once again. They finally came up with a breakthrough. If you see, such a long mind map. They started with something, 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 and then it went on, and they finally, after 2 or 3 weeks, they came up, okay, this is where what we were missing, and they actually could save a lot of money also.
Wow.
So, I mean, the
That's
complete story is
amazing.
there in some of his books also, but I just thought I'll show you this picture to tell you that yes, I mean, if you see, the mind map is stitched. It is not one single paper. It was
Yes.
stitched one after the other, one after the other. So it went on from one map to the other, one map to the other, and then finally, when the whole CDs of maps were made, it seems people actually stood there. They even took some time to absorb those information, what they have said. Now, the moment everything is visual, they can actually interact. Okay, this is this is why what we where we were lacking, or is this our problem?
Yeah. And
How
draw those connections, right? The connecting dots too is
everything
so
came together.
important.
So everything came together,
Wow.
you can see. So yeah, another very interesting way of this is what we do. Assuming that, suppose you go and conduct a brainstorming session for a group of people on any topic,
Mm-hmm.
and you would want them to, they need not know mind mapping, but you can just tell them that simple associative activity that we did today. All they need is draw 10 branches, come up with 10 ideas, further extend them. So that's it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
what we do is, for example, if you want to do in the group, this is how we do. We will tell individual people to jot down their ideas in the form of a radiant map, not as bullet point, but in the form of a radiant map. And then these people will come in groups, and all these people will discuss among themselves and make one map. Now combine their individual map and make a single map, combine, make a single map. And once from here, again, those single maps will all go, and then they will finally form one map.
Hmm.
So we
But it
have done
includes
this
the
with,
inputs
yeah,
of
we have done
everyone.
this with some 100 people also. So it was group of 10 people in one group,
Oh,
10 people. So 10 groups were there, and each group, first we did individually, then those 10 people came together and made just one mind map out of the 10 small mind maps, one big mind map. And again, from there, they further one person came out from all the 10 groups, and then they made one mind map. So it was
hmm.
some policy, uh, I mean, some new policies were to be adopted in the engineering section of the university where I was working, and they wanted the faculties to put their brain there. So the group also consisted of variety, not just faculties. There were faculties, there were people. One was for management. So different group of people came together,
Yeah, yeah.
and different age groups also. So this group formation was very interesting. But initially, everyone was asked to make their own versions, and
Yep,
it
yep.
actually came out to be very beautiful at the end, the final mind map. So you can try this in sometime in future, if you have a group of people and if you want any topic, on any topic.
Right, 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 right.
So how is it going so far?
Yeah, very, very good. I just I'm seeing many, many more places to use mind maps and ways to do it. And some of it is solo activity and some of it's with other people. So really rich.
Let me just open this, and okay, let me just, oh yeah, our podcast is still waiting.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. We were talking about activity habit tracker. So let me first show you the habit tracker.
Okay.
Just put, Again, this is just a sample. Okay. I'll just close it for now, and then we'll go one by one. So yeah, whatever, let's say we want to track this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things. So whatever we want to track, we put it in the mind map. And then, for example, I want to track that whether I'm doing 15-minute meditation or not.
Yep.
So the times morning and evening. And what
Yep.
I do is I will just put a tick here,
Yep.
whether I'm doing or not. And if I'm not doing, I'll put a cross. Or maybe sometimes I'll just leave. If I do, I'll put a tick. If I'm not doing, I'll not put anything. So
Yep.
in a week, if there are 7 ticks, it means that okay, I have done. So what I do is I do it for 1 month. Monthly,
Okay.
I do.
Yep.
So I don't want to make the template all over again every week. So I
Right.
fix it that okay, for this month, these are the only 3. And I don't put so many things. I put hardly 3 or 4, not more
Right.
than that,
Right.
because too many things there are, then I won't be doing anything. So I will put less things. Okay, let's go month by month. And for example, something becomes a part of my habit. For example, meditation, it has become a part that we already do it as a ritual, that we get up in the morning, and it's a part of, we do all those, in India, we burn this incense stick and we light a lamp. And so once we do that, it becomes a part. After that, we have to sit there. So now
Yeah.
it is a habit, then I remove it from the tracker. But I don't
Yes.
track it anymore. Rather, I would like to track whether I'm drinking 8 glasses of water or not.
Oh, water is one of my tracker things that I want. One of the
Because
things I want to track too.
even
Yeah.
me, I mean, that is one thing, especially if it is during winters, I used to see that there was no urge to drink water because it was already cold, and then the intake was less. So
Yeah.
anything that we want to track. So something like that. And for example, diet also, these are just an example. For example, in the diet, I have added water, whether I'm taking 8 glass. Fruits,
Got it.
this is just an example. Fruits, 2 days I did not take. So I'm just putting a cross, cross.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if I have taken, I'll put tick, tick or something like that.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
this is showing that I should not take fast food. So
Yep.
cross. But then even if I have taken, I'll just write, okay, in 1 month, how many times I have
Right.
taken. So I'll just
Okay.
write, okay, 2 times or 3 times. Every time I take, I can, some people will just do, like those tally marks, just
Yeah, the
one.
little hash marks. Yeah.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
So tea, coffee, fried stuff, whether I'm following the timings of the food or not, am I taking too
Uh,
frozen food? So whatever you want, you can add all of those.
yes.
And I also, this is again another thing, like for example, some people would like to track,
Oh, yes. The moods and
yeah,
things.
yeah. So
Yeah.
something like that. Do you want to track any of those? Do I get bored very often?
Yeah.
Did I judge anybody today? So something like that at the end of the day. Because some certain times it happens that though it is not happening consciously, but we just, okay, even if it could be on television and they say, yeah, these people, the star kids are just like that. But then even that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
statement. And like if there is someone, young people around, and they pick it up very fast. Yeah, star kids are like this. So we got to be careful.
Right. Right. And if it's something that makes you start feeling bad about yourself, if you're too judgmental,
Mm.
you're like, okay, I have to shrink that. I have to
Yeah,
work on it.
yeah, and then procrastination also. So whatever it
Oh,
is, something like that. Like, okay, I say that out of 10, let's say out of 30 days in a month, there were only 10 days I procrastinated, and but 20 days I really took step and took action. Then I say, okay, that's fine, because as per my stand, I mean, whatever I think that is fine. That much I can take.
yeah.
At the same time,
Yeah.
there are people, I have seen that they would 25 day work, 25 days they work very well, and only 5 days they might have actually procrastinated, or maybe they did something, and then they will just think about that 5 days, and they are very
Oh,
hard on themselves.
yep.
So I see
Yep.
it other way, that okay, 20 days or 25 days I worked well, so 5 days it's okay. And that
Yeah, right, right. You're only human.
so something of that sort. And then we could add anything. As I said, some people put cycle image, that they will go cycling every day. Some people, they say that they will read scriptures every day. So they put a
Mm,
picture of the scripture or something like that. And this is
yep.
again like
Yep.
how distracted I am throughout the day. So some people would like to track that. And
Yes.
yeah, something like that. Some rituals, what kind of rituals I do. For example, uh, turn off, and before what I do, this is like gratitude mapping at night, maybe quiet affirmations or whatever it is, and something
Yeah.
of that sort. So it's all completely personalized, whatever. And like, um, again, one thing yeah, that I track, most of my mind maps of habit tracking, this is one common thing that I would track. That is, did I study something at least even for 10 minutes? Did I read a book? Or if I did not read, did I mean, may not be a physical book, but did I at least listen to some podcast
Mhm.
or something, 10 minutes or so, maybe some scriptures or something like that? Did we read or not? So just a kind of tracker to tell
Yep.
myself that, okay, it was, at least if I did that also, it was not a wasted day.
Right, right, exactly, exactly.
Something like that. So that's completely personalized. I have seen a friend of
Yeah.
mine in her habit tracker. She writes, "Did I help somebody today?" And she thinks that if
Oh,
that she has done, or did I make somebody smile today? If she has done that, then her day is, you know, she
yeah.
is fulfilled at the end of the day. It's okay if 10 things did not go well in the hospital. She's a doctor. If 10 things
Oh,
did not go well in the hospital, it's fine. If 5 things did not work out, maybe while going, the car broke, and she went to ATM and it was out of money. She went to grocery and she did not find the things that she wanted. And things happen. All of these things happens to all of us. But then at
yes.
the end of the day, if there is someone, one patient, one person whom she could make smile, and she feels, okay, that's fine, tomorrow will be a better day, and she sleeps like that.
Yeah, yeah,
That is what
yeah,
she tracks. So, it can be in so many different ways.
yeah, yeah. Love that. No, this is great. It's right now I do a similar thing in my bullet journal when I say, what are my goals for the month? And it'll be like, see 4 people, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And then, I keep track of that so that at least at the end of the month, I can say, okay, I did some of my goals. It wasn't a complete waste.
Of course. And if we see properly, there is always something that we do. It's never that we have not done anything throughout the month. There's always something. If nothing, maybe we have rested enough.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll just show you this. Okay. So maybe before we go to the next mind map, we can just have a look at this 6 levels of
Ah,
learning.
yes. Yes.
And you remember that we did this on the first day?
Yes. And that the commitment was that, or the bargain, the agreement was that you would take me through the first 5
Yeah.
levels of that.
So, where do you find yourself right now?
Um,
Are you
I think
experimenting?
I think I'm at the experimenting phase for sure. When I was doing the radio thinking when, kind of on my own. Um, so definitely, and even with the weekly mind mapping, I don't, we didn't really talk about the 2 different approaches I use, but the first one was driven by the conversation that we'd had that I spent so little time. I spent a lot of time on creative, not much on
Right.
admin, like nothing on review, right? So and kind of not a work-life balance, but a life balance. So my first weekly mind map was based on the sections of activity, the types of activity that I wanted to do, not the days of the week, right? So that I could say, okay, this tree looks pretty balanced. If I do all of this,
Mhm.
I'll have done it pretty balanced. And of course, I learned that while I could draw a great tree about it, I couldn't actually do it. But it's good because it told me, okay, I didn't even touch the green branch. I didn't even get there. This is not good.
Mhm.
So
That's lovely way.
that to me was a very experimental use of mind mapping to
Wow.
kind of meld
So what you
together.
did was you put the activities, right? All the activities mapped out there. And
Yes,
exactly know
to the
what you have
different,
done, what you have not done.
right, but categorized according to, you know, spiritual,
Okay.
my translation project, my work, my family, like
Okay.
that.
Lovely.
So,
Wow. That's interesting because a lot of people they would schedule based on either what you call it day wise or activity wise. I mean, all of that. But then this is categorized at the same time. Activities are also there. I think that would be lovely. Yeah. And
well, and
is it helping you out?
well, I only did it once, but I think I want to keep doing it.
Mm,
But the mapping the week with
mm,
what I had to do on every day kept
mm.
me better on track. So, so do I want to map the week so that I'm on track, or do I want to map the week so that I am evolving as a human being?
Uh,
Do,
so
do you get
the
it? You see
choice,
the
yeah,
difference?
yeah. So the choice, or maybe
So,
a balance of both.
yeah, I could probably figure out a way to combine both.
Yeah, because it sounds interesting. One is evolving, the other one is like also checking that whether you're on track or not. But then the evolving one I like more because we actually see how we can see through. It's not just about okay, done, 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 done. It's not just that. It's not more. It's
Yeah,
not mechanical. It's more like you feel the connect. Okay, this is what I am, and how it is, how I'm not just on track, but the moment I put the activities out there, I also know that I'm accountable for all of
yeah,
that, and this is what I could not do this week, but then it's okay. So something like that. So it's interesting.
yes,
If you remember, as you rightly mentioned, that we also know once it is activity wise, sometimes we know that though four activities are done, but the main one is still there. Maybe we have only done small, some activities which are redundant, but
right.
major project, my main work is still out there.
Yeah,
So something like so creation and review and maintenance, if you remember C.
yeah, yeah. So we'll keep working on that.
I love
So,
that. Yeah. So yeah, I thought I'll show you this, and I would want you to remember that. I mean, just kind of a review for us that we had this discussion in the first session, and we say that. So, do you feel that now we are somewhere in the experimenting phase or not?
yes, absolutely. But I also feel that we've done guided practice at different points already, right? So,
Mhm.
um, like the gratitude map, that was guided, very guided practice. The podcast project, to me,
Mhm.
that was very guided practice.
Mhm.
Um, working together on things is obviously very guided, but I feel even the very first assignments, first maps, because you talked to me about them, I felt you guided me, you gave me guidance. So yeah.
Thank
I could
you.
even, I think one thing that would be kind of fun is to like put the branch, like what were my experimental mind maps, right? Like when I tried to do the speed mapping before knowing how to do it, and those kinds of things. That was I think I
Wow.
could do that, categorize, just show, which mind map went with which branch.
Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you. And it's good to hear, how your journey, because I just realized that we have come quite a long way. When I was writing today, okay, this is session 6, and somehow I had to generate a fresh link because the earlier link got expired. It was still 18th of May, and I was so engrossed with all this thing that was happening. I could easily edit and, extend the date, but somehow it just did not happen. I said, okay, no issues. I'll just create a fresh link, and that's okay. And then I realized, okay, wow, we have come a long way. So yeah,
So you feel that we're about there too, right?
yeah, of course. And yes, with gratitude mapping, with what you call, if you remember, we also made a mind map of yourself,
Oh
of
yeah, that
you.
was very
Yeah,
guided.
yeah,
But
that's
yes, no, no.
that map I generally love because it also gives me you know, some entry into your life where I, learn about you, and it's kind of a mutual
Mm,
thing. So I love that activity very much. Yeah.
mm.
So as we move forward today, I can see it's 8:10. So would you like to? We have two things in hand now, and you can choose any one. One is we have a book mapping blueprint. So again, when we come to mind map, we understand that one way of using a mind map is to make a summary or create a summary of a book after reading it, or maybe create speed maps while reading each chapter and then making a final one that we have already done in that small course that you had access to. So that is,
Yes,
somebody has written a book and we are only, after reading, we are creating a piece of notes using mind mapping.
yes,
But the other way around, where you want to write something, and how you can use mind maps as a blueprint to create your book. So we call it book mapping blueprint, and there are 3 or 4 mind maps related to that. But out of that, maybe one we can discuss today if you wish, or we can
okay.
talk about the podcast, whichever you wish.
Um, I'm feeling better about the podcast, but I'd love to talk about the book mapping, because one of the things that I did in Germany was that I really paid attention to the Jewish history in each little town I went. And it just kind of affirmed the need to collect stories, etc. So yeah, I'd like to work on book mapping piece.
Okay, okay. So surely then podcast will keep it for next session.
Yes.
And book mapping also, like there are 3 to 4 mind maps just on this topic that I'll be sharing with you. But today we'll pick up one, and next class we will pick up 2 more. Why? Because in those two you will actually have to make the mind map along. It'll be more like a guided one.
Okay.
And this is more like a lecture. So this one I'll show you now, and the other one we will do it together in the next class along with the podcast.
Okay.
So this is a blueprint, I call it, because using this, 7 persons have actually written their book, and 8th person is, I mean, that's written, but it's getting published on 5th of July. The other
Oh,
7th person has done already last year in 2022. And this year we had just one, and this is another one, second one. And the 3rd person is more about, she writes about food, but
oh,
uh, food from an Ayurveda approach. She's a Ayurvedic
oh,
practitioner. Yeah. So we
yes.
use the same mind map, the same blueprint we have used to create completely different. Each book is different from the other, if you see, but the blueprint works for everybody.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So let's see. It's a very simple one, and I say that, for example, somebody is writing the book for the first time, you can just use it as a map, as the name suggests. You can use it as a map, and then you can create, first put the thing, dump all the information here, and then you can start writing your book. So what we do is, for sure, we start with the research phase, if you see.
Yes.
So I'll just increase this. Yeah. We start with the research phase, where I tell people that, of course, more than anything, people will want to go for internet research even before newspapers or library and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the first thing, because that's the easiest thing to do also in internet research. So what I tell people is, in this mind map only, from the internet, pick out 10 or 15 keywords and just write them. For example, one
The
keyword.
keywords that you use for searching.
Yeah, no. For
Oh,
example,
okay.
your topic is time management. Just an example, somebody is writing a topic, that how to time management techniques for, let's say, working moms.
Mm,
Maybe that is the niche, and he or she is a coach, or maybe she's interested in, because she herself, or he herself, I mean, she herself has developed some techniques, and she wants to write a book about all of her
yeah.
experiences. But that is only her experience. She needs to know what the crowd out there in the internet, what are their thoughts about it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
maybe she puts those keywords on the, Google search or somewhere, or maybe on Quora or Google search, or maybe other platforms where the people ask questions. And from there she reads very fast. And we say that this internet search, we just use this particular thing only for 1 to 2 hours for the entire duration. We don't want to waste an entire day for this. This is, we say, fast research. Just we'll go and we'll just pick up the keywords from the
Yeah.
main, what you call, topic.
Yeah.
and 10 to 15 keywords, because this keywords will later on help us in devising our questions, later on help us in writing our chapters. So a lot of help will come out later only from these keywords. So 10 to
Yep.
15 most used keywords around your central topic, whatever is your
Yep.
central topic. And next, what we do is I tell people that when you are reading on the same topic, if you are reading some blogs, if you're reading some articles, there's some key statements will be there. So, you know,
Yep.
open an Excel sheet, not directly in the mind map, maybe open an Excel sheet or something
Yep.
and put all those key statements there. And that key statement, you can keep it here as a link, or at least you can remember that I have done this research.
Yes.
20 key statements. Why 20 key statements? It could be even from a newspaper or something. And this searching 20 key statements may need some time, may not be happening in one day, because you could read from a book or from somewhere, but 20 key statements,
Yep.
quotes or something. And then once we do the internet part, we go to books. So whether it is Google books or actual, whatever books. And from books also, we just don't read the entire book. Our
Right.
focus is more on trying to skim through, just quick glance, and if there is anything that we want to address, or maybe we are finding this book has not addressed this particular issue, so whatever
Yep.
it is, we just note down those keywords again.
Yes.
And if there are particular books that we would like to refer in our book, we just note down the names of those books for later
Yep.
reference. These are again very simple ones, simple research which will not need a lot of time. Where we will need time is here, interview. So
Yes.
what we do is, and actually the book that is releasing soon, within a month or two, I mean, not month or two, yeah, on 5th of July that I said, we actually conducted 20 interviews. It was not 10. We
Mm.
started 10 and she said, I have this, I said, okay, let's interview all of them. And we made a proper template of question that for this group of people, the first 5 people we are going to, because if we are writing a book on leadership and we want to talk about a visionary leader should also be very compassionate, so we will talk about compassion with this 5 people.
Yeah.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about the perseverance angle with another 5 people. So we actually chose the topic. So what we do is we conduct interviews, and this interview is more like from people who are already at some level in life. For example, if we are doing a time management for, this is just an example, time management for working moms, and how they also need time for the self-care and all that we want to do. So we will be going and interviewing people who have already lived this life. Let's say for
Yes.
5 years or 10 years, they have already reached, and maybe their children have grown up, and now they can actually reflect and give us some tips, or what
Yes.
were the challenges they face, or something like that. Whereas this lady who wrote about Ayurvedic food and all, she went and asked people who have undergone a transformation by changing their lifestyle.
Mm.
So
Mm.
those kind of people, we are not, we will target the other group also, people who are suffering or who want
Okay.
that group, we will do it separately. This is like interview with some established people. And when I
Okay.
say established, it means that okay, they have actually seen that growth for themselves.
Yep.
And I generally tell that make a mind map of the people if even a picture is available, and just put
Yeah.
who are the people we are going to interview and all of that. So this is very interesting. There's a person who wrote a book on married couples, I mean marriage life, for the first 5 years are the most crucial years according to that
Oh.
person. He wrote in a different language, not in English, in another Indian language, Tamil. So what he did is he interviewed people who were married for, like, let's say 15 years, 20 years, and he
Yeah.
asked them that what were your struggles in the first 5 years. So he asked them that what were the challenges that came up, because after 5 years, after 10 years, things change. But what was that first challenges? And
Yes.
if you are still
Yes.
together, what is that is keeping you together? So he asked all those questions.
Yeah. That's a great book. Wow. That's a great idea for a book. I think it would help a lot of people.
So yeah, so this is 10 is again just a number. We can increase it 20, 30, provided we have access to that many people. And this interview, what we do is kind of like Zoom interviews where we meet virtually, or if possible, we meet them offline, I mean, face to face, and we have a set of questions pre-decided, and we ask them that. Then next is videos. And again, I say that whatever is your topic, on that topic or peripheral topic also, some videos again you can watch, and if you think that something is really striking, just note down 1 or 2 sentences from each of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and this is again courses. This is not necessary, but if possible, if you see, and especially if this is again important, if the person is writing a book on some self-help book, or maybe on a topic, personality development, or this kind of books, which is not very much which the, I mean, the creative element is lesser there. People need more case studies, all of that.
Yes.
So for those kind of things, I say, okay, if there are some free courses available on Coursera, or maybe a small courses, mini courses available on LinkedIn, or even Udemy, or something like Udemy, something, just maybe you can do that course or something like that, so that
Yep.
you are just trying to understand from all the angles what is available there, because you don't want to repeat things also.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
and once we have done this, the first one is internet research, internet search, books, interview, videos, courses. Then we go to the most important part of research, that is, we try to create a sample of the future audience for our book. You will try to understand that. And this is, we will do in another map separately next week. I'll show you. There's a different map that I said we will do a guided mind mapping.
Yeah.
So
And
we will
this piece
already,
will be useful for the podcast as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So we say, okay, who are the sample audience? Let's say we'll try to understand what will be their age, what would be their, and the demographics, or maybe anything that you imagine. Okay, these are the people. So once that is done, here we have interviewed the people who are established and who have gone through, at least to certain extent, they have faced these challenges or whatever it is, and they are established. This is the sample of future audience who might be actually facing the trouble. For example, if it's a book on time management, these are the people struggling with time management, maybe,
Yeah.
or these are just new moms or something like that. So in the survey, and this we have done for so many of the authors, that in survey we actually prepare a Google form, and we put 15 to 20 closed questions on that related to the topic. If it's a time management topic, we just ask that, what is that you want to, I mean, something like that. What are the struggles? What are the pain points? So all of
Yeah.
that. So we think about that, and we prepare some 15 to 20 closed question where we just ask them to, put 1 to 5 on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 5 something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then 3 to 5, we put open questions where they can write their heart out, whatever it is in their mind. So 3 to 4, 5 open questions. And I have seen this open questions gives us a lot of material for writing. When we are writing the books, one of the, we can actually refer that by changing the names or something like that.
Yeah, or anonymizing it. Yeah.
So and so person actually faced this situation, and there's a need for this or something like that. We actually get a lot of clarity, because when we start thinking about writing a book on any particular topic, it is just based on our own experience.
Right.
But the moment we do this, we are throwing it, I mean, giving it to the world and taking their views. Now we are so rich with all those experiences, and we can definitely write a better book.
And that's exactly, like, that's the best practice in marketing also, right? If you just write from the information that you got within the company on the product, you don't know how that product will connect to the people. So by doing this kind of survey, which when you have money, you try to do, that's when you find out that, oh, they don't really care about something being
exactly, and we thought it was so
colorful. They want
important.
it to be faster.
Yeah, we assume something, the actual thing could be something completely different. So yeah, so some kind of survey where we take some information from people, and this is like at least 100 to 200 people if we are planning to put that survey results at the end of the book somewhere. So something like that. So we do a survey, and generally what I do, I mean, people take for this research and for this survey together, they spend a good 10 to 15 days very slowly, because this is where they are building up. what they are going to do. Maybe they will
Yep.
approach people, take interviews, go to libraries, read books, and some even would want to make vision boards of what they have read, what information they have collected. They start making vision boards of that,
Yep.
all of
Yep.
that. And once that is done, then I tell people, okay, this is again not fixed, but at least when we write a book, even before writing the chapters or anything, why don't you write a description of 200 to 300 words? What is, and just ask yourself these three questions when you are writing this 200 to 300 words. This is more like it will evolve. Maybe at the end of 6 months when your book comes up, or at the end of 3 months when the book comes up, it could be simply different.
Yeah, because you could have, learned something totally
Yeah,
different along the way,
yeah.
but
To
this
start, we need
declares your,
something. Yeah. So to start with, this 200 to 300 words could be like asking yourself that what is the problem that you're going to solve after reading some problem that you are solving for the person, and what is the solution they can get from this book. And is the audience looking for that solution, or looking for that, do they have that problem? Because unless that these three are matched, and actually when we write the blurb or description of the book, we also do this, that we call this as PSA approach, a problem solution audience approach. And we combine any two. We combine either problem with audience or solution with audience. We keep the audience as a
ah,
common factor. Like
yeah,
a simple thing could be, I have seen even in Tony Buzan books also, they ask that, are you are you a student? So student is the audience here. Are you a student struggling to remember information? So
that's the problem. Yeah.
yeah, so audience and problem. Or I remember another person saying that, are you a working professional wanting to speak fluently in English? So solution.
Yes.
Solution.
Yes.
So something of that sort. So we
Yep.
just write 5 to 6 questions, and the only reason, motive behind writing those questions is, finally when I start writing the book, these questions will give me a lot of clarity. Okay, I should be going this way, and then later on it can evolve. So the
Mm-hmm.
starting
Mm-hmm.
point, some questions, and then maybe a 2 or 3 sentences about what the book is going to offer to the audience, something of that
Yes.
sort. So we write that 200 to 300 words, and this 200 to 300 words will be very helpful. We can write this 200 to 300 words based on the keywords that we will be getting from here, because this is the
Mm.
first step. Only when we complete this 2 step, we will be going here. So by the time we write this, we will already have a lot of information from these 2 steps, step 1 and step 2.
Yes.
So once we are doing this, do you have time?
Yes. Yes, I
Okay.
do. Yes.
Okay. Because I saw that but then I did want to complete this. So, and then, for example, we are assuming that we have completed research, we have completed surveying people, we also got a lot of respondents. Let's say 200 people responded, and we have a huge
Yes.
thing, and we also took a gap. When I say tell people that if you are doing this, then take a break of few days between each step, so that it gives you some time to relax also.
Yeah.
And once you have written your blurb or the description, then we again introduction. This also, by the time the book ends, it evolves a lot, but as a starting point, we do these three things for all of us. We say that, what is the purpose of the book from author's point of view? Like, you as an author, why do you want to write this book? Maybe it could be some personal story, it could be some experience, or maybe some life-changing moment, some
Yes.
realization. So whatever it is, why do you want to write the book? The purpose of the book from the author's point of view. And then objective of the book from audience point of view. Like, why,
Mm-hmm. Why
what is
should
the,
you read this book?
yeah, what is that they will get from this book? And again, how are you going to address those things? Whatever the audience are expecting, how are you going to, the objective? For example, you have done a survey, and you have done some research and analysis, and you know that this is what the audience wants, because
Yeah.
actually you have those 10 interviews or 20 interviews, plus you have those 100 200 Google, from the Google, from this questionnaires
Yep.
you have answered. So based on that, you now have a solid foundation that these are the problems existing, people do want a solution, and everybody faces this challenge, and a mixture of that you will tell the audience that yes, this are the problems existing. So something of that sort. We write the objective, and this entire part of the second part of the introduction is fully focused on the audience.
Mm.
And the first part was focused on the author. And then we also want that it could be not a typical CTA, but at least to start with, because we have not yet started writing the book, at least in the introduction, when we are making this tentative introduction, we try to find out that what is that I am looking forward. It could be a simple thing that if I'm writing a book on, let's say, this food, Ayurvedic food, or simple daily food, how we can make our kitchen so rich that we don't get a lot of lifestyle diseases or something like that. That lady, the one who is writing this. So her
Yes.
message is that she wants people to reach out to her because, she gives a lot of her email addresses and all of that. And then she tells that if you want, you can just go and read even my articles for free in this blogs, because I do write a lot. So a simple, and she wants them to take action and get back to her if they have any problem. So she writes that. Whereas there are other people who would say that, at the end, there are some exercises or some worksheets.
Yes. Or
Why
some
don't you?
classes you can
Yeah.
take,
So
or
something like that. So just writing one or two of those even before writing the book. So once we finish this, actually what we do is research, survey, blurb, and introduction. This entire thing could take, let's say, a month or 20 days or something, even if somebody is doing very seriously. Then once we do that, we go to the other parts like mind mapping, actual mind mapping of the book. So we generally do it in 90 days, 90 to 100 days we do for one person. And we follow this actually. Once they finish this mind maps and they have done this, then writing becomes, they had themselves, a lot of authors have said that writing becomes very simple. Then they don't need to meet me or anything. They would meet me only during these mind mapping sessions. After that, they say, we just sit throughout the night or in the morning and words come up because it's all there in the map. We just we don't have to struggle for ideas and thoughts and all of that. It's all there. We just have to keep writing. Then writing becomes way easier.
So the 90 to 100 days is all of this, not including any writing.
No, including writing. This we will finish within the first 3 weeks because research. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The first draft we generally complete within 90 to 100 days.
Wow. So this is like writing a book in 100 days.
Yeah, exactly. The first draft is completed by 100 days. I think for all of the people, it completed the first draft. But then there are some people who would say that, okay, after the first draft is done, they want to publish it on their birthday or anniversary or something, and then they wait for another few months. But then book gets written in 100 days, roughly 100 days, because it's all about it, that this, it's like a blueprint and they follow.
Yes. Yeah, this is a blueprint for how to construct a topic, right? How to develop the topic, especially very good for nonfiction.
Yeah, for nonfiction, it works well. For fiction also, it works, but then not exactly this. For fiction, I think I can give you an access. I was thinking about it, but then somehow it skipped. I'll just write down. In Thinkific, there is one complete module on this about book mapping. It was done with a group of, earlier what I used to do, every 8 weeks, a new batch used to join for book. And then in group, we used to do this. So out of that, many became authors. Some they learned and they say they will apply later on. So that way it worked. So one of the complete cohort I had recorded in, I think, 2021 or sometime. So that is, recordings are there. So I'll give you access to that.
You have been extraordinarily busy. Oh my gosh. You're like a factory of mind mapping coaching. It's really amazing.
Thank you. So how was the session today? Did you feel some connect now because we had met after so long?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It just felt like, oh, okay. As long as picking up, I was able to figure out exactly where you were picking up, and you've moved us forward without missing a space or whatever. So, and again, just so much information to absorb, but all of it really useful. And yeah, can't wait.
Surely. So We will be meeting 2 more times to wind up, but then I want to complete this book thing. We have done the first part today. Two
Yes.
more mind maps will come in the next session, and
Okay.
also the podcast we will complete. And then
Okay.
again, we will have complete whatever we have done plus small topics and doubts. So 2 more sessions, and after that you can, as you say that it's too much of information, you can relax and we take a month or so to absorb all of this, make some more mind maps. And as I say,
Yep.
30 minutes bonus sessions you can schedule through email. You can just intimate me whenever you think that okay, you are
Okay.
ready, and then we can do that.
Yes. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
so two more we
Okay.
will, yeah, 2 more we will do next week and next to next, yeah.
Okay. All right. Oh, so much. Okay. But at least it's funny. Before I would just have all these ideas and they would just be floating up. And now they're slowly trickling and landing into a mind map.
Just use it. I say people that it's so amazing the moment we start uh, using a mind map, it helps us organize and visualize all that is there inside the brain. And in any process, whatever the key steps are involved, for example, just now we did book mapping, and the key steps involved are research. The key steps involved going and talking to people about it, because we just cannot be and even if it is a fiction, or even if we are writing a novel, but still we need to go to the places and talk, think, see how the place is. Even a simple thing like a person getting into a bus, and if I want to describe that scene in my book, I need to go there and
Yeah.
observe. So even that is
Yeah.
a research. So all of that, the moment it is there in a mind map or a vision board, or some people, even if they are not making a mind map, they will just put it all in a board. The
Yeah.
moment it is there, we know exactly how we have to move. So the key
Yes.
steps are decided, and it's amazing actually.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so neat. And yet the whole system is open and flexible enough that there's room for making discoveries and adding in new things that you didn't know when you started the process. So love it. It's great.
Thank you. So
Good.
yeah, it was
All right. Well, I'm glad to see that you're smiling and have good energy. And I hope your next steps, your next procedures are that you eventually your body gets used to it
yeah.
and makes it easier for you.
Yeah, and just praying that whatever the purpose that we are looking for, that finally, it gets realized. And yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
just pray for us.
Okay. All right. That's what I will wish for as well. Okay.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. Yeah, and I love your color, the t-shirt color, lovely.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, okay,
Bye.
bye. Yeah, take care. Yeah,
You too. You
have a nice
too.
have a nice day.